Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to take a close look at something many of you are working on, finding the best ways to learn English. If you're just starting out, or maybe even if you've been learning for a while, it can sometimes feel, well, big and confusing. Maybe you look at all the words or think about grammar or worry about pronunciation, and it just feels like, where do I even start?
Yeah, that feeling is so common. It's really easy to feel a bit overwhelmed, But what we see looking at the information is that progress is absolutely possible. It's less about being perfect or super fast
Yeah,
and more about finding strategies that work for you and just taking those steps one by one.
exactly. And that's really our mission today, to help you see a clearer path forward. We've gone through our sources and pulled out the key ideas, the practical steps, and some insights into why certain methods work so you can feel more confident. We'll talk about building a strong foundation, using immersion techniques, staying consistent and setting goals, and finding good resources. Simple, practical ways to learn even when life is busy. Okay, let's dive into this first idea, building that solid base.
Absolutely. It's like building anything, really, a house maybe. You need that strong foundation first. For beginners especially, focusing on the absolute basics is definitely the way to go. We're talking about simple, everyday words and phrases you can actually use straight away. Things like, hello, how are you, thank you, or maybe simple questions like, what's this, The idea is to start with words that are useful right now, not complicated stuff. Just mastering those common words gives you a surprising amount of ability to communicate simply. And the key is to build this vocabulary gradually. Maybe try learning just, say, 5 useful words each day.
Just 5 a day.
Yeah, it might sound slow, but that small, consistent effort, it really adds up over time. It builds that foundation much better than cramming.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about having words you can actually use. Okay, what about grammar? That feels like a huge mountain sometimes.
It can feel that way for sure. But here's the good news from the sources. You really don't need to know every single grammar rule right from the start.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah, trying to do that can just make you freeze up. The advice is to focus on the basic structures first, things you need to make simple sentences right now. Think about simple, present, past, future tenses. Just the basics to talk about now, yesterday, tomorrow. And you use these simple forms over and over until they start to feel natural. More complex grammar, you often pick that up gradually just by hearing it and seeing it used. And this brings up something really important. It is absolutely okay to make mistakes.
That's a relief. It always feels like you have to get it perfect.
Not at all. Mistakes are just, well, they're part of learning. They show you where you need a bit more practice. The key is not to be afraid to try. Use the words and simple grammar you know. Try them out, even just saying simple sentences out loud to yourself. Or using greetings.
Right, actually using the language.
Exactly. Producing the language, even if it's not perfect, helps it stick in your brain.
So practicing with other people is probably a good idea then.
Definitely. The sources really highlight this. Finding someone, a friend, maybe a family member, another learner, or finding a language partner online gives you that crucial real-world practice. And it doesn't have to be a native speaker right away. Just practicing with someone who understands some English helps build your confidence and gets you used to forming sentences on the spot.
Good point. And for building that foundation, what about tools like, say, flashcards? Are they still useful?
Oh yeah, they're fundamental. They work because they make you actively remember the word, not just passively read it. And the suggestion is to make cards not just for single words, but maybe for short phrases, or a word used in a simple sentence. Context helps a lot.
Ah, so you see how it's used.
Right. And then review them regularly, maybe just daily for a few minutes. That repetition really helps move things into your long-term memory. It makes those words and phrases part of your usable foundation. And there's one more really key tip for beginners from the sources. Start listening practice right from the beginning.
Listening, even if you don't understand much.
Yes. Start with really simple things,
Yeah.
manageable things, like a basic English podcast for learners, or maybe a children's story. The language is simpler, often spoken more slowly. Doing this consistently helps your brain get used to the sounds, the rhythm, the intonation of English. You start recognizing the words you've learned. That actually boosts your confidence for speaking, too, because you have a better feel for how English should sound.
Okay, wow. So let's quickly recap this foundation part. Start with the basics. Useful words, simple phrases, core grammar. Practice using them. Don't worry about mistakes. Maybe find a partner. Use tools like flashcards focusing on context. And listen to simple English every day. Remember, it's a journey, step by step. No need to rush or get frustrated if it feels slow at first. Consistency is what builds that base.
Okay, Building on that, let's talk about something called immersive learning. How effective is that really, especially if you can't, just move to an English-speaking country?
Immersion is incredibly effective. The basic idea is just surrounding yourself with the language as much as possible, and you absolutely can create that kind of environment wherever you live. The sources give some great accessible examples, like listening to English audio music counts, podcasts, simple audiobooks, or watching things in English, movies, TV shows. Using subtitles can be really helpful here.
English subtitles, you mean? Or
Oh.
subtitles in your own language? Well, starting with your own language is okay to get the gist. But switching to English subtitles when you feel ready helps you connect the sounds you hear with the written words. It helps with pronunciation, picking up phrases, understanding the meaning, even if you don't know every single word. Just try to follow the main story.
That's a good tip. Just get the main idea first. And I guess you have to actually try speaking pretty early on, too.
Yes, speaking is like active immersion. Even if you only know a little bit, try to use it. Find those language partners online, maybe join a group for learners, or honestly, just talk to yourself in English.
Really? Talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Describe what you're doing or what you see around you. Saying things out loud makes the words feel more real, helps your memory, and builds confidence for actual conversations later. And if you have friends who speak some English, try using a little with them, even just simple phrases. Using it naturally makes it feel less like studying and more like, communication. Immersion gradually helps your brain start to think in English rather than constantly translating back and forth.
That makes sense. And I've heard simple things help, too, like changing your phone's language setting to English.
That's a great example. It's a small thing, but you interact with it constantly. It forces you to learn common commands and words in a very practical way. Little daily exposures like that add up.
So immersion is really about weaving English into your everyday life, making it normal. Okay, so we've got the foundation, we've got surrounding yourself with English, but how do you actually stick with it? Let's talk about setting goals and staying consistent. How important are goals?
Oh, they're critical. The sources really emphasize this. Having clear, achievable goals gives you direction, something specific to work towards. It helps you see your progress, which is motivating, and it keeps you focused, especially when, life gets busy or you feel a bit stuck. And for beginners, the advice is definitely start small. Don't aim for fluency in 3 months or something huge like that.
Right, that just sets you up for disappointment.
Exactly. Instead, set goals like, I'll listen to 10 minutes of English audio today, or I'll learn 3 new phrases tomorrow and try to use them, or maybe I'll practice speaking for 5 minutes. Small, manageable things.
Yeah, I agree. Those smaller goals feel less scary, and when you hit them, it gives you a little boost, right? Which helps you keep going, and that ties right into consistency.
Absolutely. Consistency is maybe the most important factor highlighted in the sources. Doing a little bit every day is much, much more effective than one long study session once a week.
Keeps it fresh in your mind.
It does, and it builds habits. It makes learning feel less like a chore you have to schedule and more like just part of your day. Maybe try creating a little routine, like review flashcards with your coffee, listen to something on your commute, do a quick app exercise before bed, whatever fits your life. And the sources also suggest tracking your progress somehow. It doesn't have to be fancy. Maybe just jot down what you practiced each week. Seeing how far you've come, even in small ways, is super motivating. Celebrate those small wins. Oh, I understood a whole sentence in that song. That's progress.
So clear, small goals, consistent daily effort, and tracking your journey. Powerful stuff for making steady progress. And it really is about being patient, isn't it? It's not a race.
Not at all.
Right. Now let's talk tools. There are so many resources available now, it's kind of amazing.
There really are. Language learning apps, for instance. The sources mentioned these are great for beginners. They're often fun, interactive, feel a bit like games. They break things down into small exercises, vocabulary, grammar, listening, and you can do them anytime, anywhere, basically.
Yeah, very handy. And what about online video platforms? Those seem huge for learning.
Oh, definitely. A fantastic resource. You can find endless videos made just for English learners, things like pronunciation tips, watching everyday conversations, mini lessons on grammar, and you can watch at your own speed, pause, repeat. Plus, you can choose topics you actually find interesting, which helps keep you engaged. Great for visual learners, too.
Good point.
And then there are audio programs like podcasts specifically for learners, excellent for practicing listening. Many speak clearly, use simpler vocabulary, focus on basic conversations. They really help you get used to the natural sound and rhythm of English.
Essential for understanding real speech.
And we shouldn't forget online dictionaries and translation tools. They're so useful for quickly checking a word's meaning or how to say it. Many even have audio pronunciation.
Yeah, and example sentences are often included too.
Right, which shows you how the word is actually used. They're great quick reference tools to support you as you encounter new things.
So using these kinds of tools daily can make learning feel much more accessible and flexible. The key seems to be choosing resources that match your level, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get totally lost or overwhelmed.
Exactly. Find things that challenge you a little but aren't impossible. Technology gives you so many options. Just experiment and see what clicks for you.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. Building that strong foundation first,
The basics.
then using immersion techniques to bring English into your daily life.
Surrounding yourself with it.
The power of setting small goals and just being consistent day after day.
Super important.
And finally, using all the helpful tools and resources available now.
Yeah. You know, if I could offer one final piece of advice, it's just to remember that learning a language really is a journey. There will be ups and there will be downs. It's completely normal to feel challenged sometimes or maybe a bit frustrated, days when it feels hard. But honestly, every little bit of practice you do makes a difference. Don't try to learn everything at once. Don't rush it. That consistency we talked about. That's the magic. Small steps every day. That's what builds fluency over time.
And please, like you said earlier, don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're not failures. They're just signs you're trying, you're learning, you're pushing yourself a little. Every time you listen or read or try to speak, even if it's just one word,
Yeah.
it counts. Keep going.
And remember, you're not alone in this either. There's a huge community of learners out there facing the same things, connecting with others, sharing experiences, asking questions. Finding that support can really help keep you motivated and moving forward.
So keep practicing, stay consistent, and be patient with yourself. Just deciding to learn English is a really big positive step. You're already on your way. We really hope these ideas and tips help you feel more confident and clearer about how to learn English effectively.
You know, thinking about how these small, consistent steps can unlock something as complex as a new language, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? What other big challenges or goals in your life could you tackle, could you achieve just by applying that same patient step-by-step approach day in and day out? Something to think about.